My neighbor's husband, Mr. Warren, came home from the war, and she's been struggling to take care of him and her 4 children.
Yes, yesterday, my husband, Dr. Jones, was forced to amputate Mr. Warren's leg right in our foyer. You know, her son Johnny, he's got the consumption. I feel so sorry for her.
I've been praying every week when I go to St. John's for Sunday service that we be blessed with a place to help care for those in need.
Having a place in the community where her husband could go would be so helpful.
I think I have an idea. I was helping Mr. Carroll, you know, that widower who lost his only siblings in the war. He was speaking to me about giving his family's cottage to our women's committee to help these families in need.
Miss Mary, we would be so blessed to use this cottage. We could fit at least 6 beds and have a kitchen.
And a parlor that we could use for surgeries.
Yes, Miss Mary, I love that idea. It's a place where Mr. Warren could recover. You know, this could be the beginning of something great for the community.
You know, over 150 years, St. John's has grown. It's grown into a 4-campus medical facility, and the city of Yonkers has grown exponentially in that same amount of time. St. John's is that place you can depend on, you can go to, that you're going to get immediate care and obviously save lives. We see St. John's as really as home for us. Over 123,000 kids were born in St. John's. I feel like over half of them are related to me. Half my brothers and sisters were born there. All 3 of my children were born there. Most of my 50 nieces and nephews were born there, and an assortment of cousins and second cousins and so forth and so on. It's great for our community. St. John's is just a wonderful facility to have here in our city, and is the reason why Yonkers is really a city on the move.
I gave 51 years of my life to St. John's. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, I entered Cochrane in September of 1957. We were the first class that did not have to wear black stockings. Thank you, God.
The community in general was very happy with St. John's because they got good care, and we had a wonderful maternity. We still do. And we had a pediatric ward.
The community regarded this hospital as the best. And if you get a job, you get an appointment as an attending, the patient will come to you.
St. John's and my father were a history for me because I spent most of my Sundays growing up with him. He would round, and my brother and myself, when we were around 10, 11 years old, would come with him to the hospital. He'd leave us down at the coffee shop. He'd round on patients and come back, and we'd have jelly donuts and he'd have coffee.
When I think of St. John's and its relationship to the community and vice versa, if you ever saw the old pictures of the horse and buggy and the original building way down on North Broadway, it means to me that we have survived 150 years. And what started out as only taking care of half a dozen people has grown to taking care of thousands of people every year that keep coming back. There has to be a reason for that. And I believe that it's because we are a community hospital. You're not just a number, you are a person. And I think the public feels that way.
St. John's is my hospital. St. John's is my home. St. John's is where I think when the people I want to really take care of, that I've been so close to all these years, when they're really sick, this is where we're going to nurture them. And this is where I'm going to come to try to help them get better. So it's my home base, and it's my hospital.
St. John saved my life. It was September 8th, the year 2000. It was about 2:30 in the morning, and I was getting high, and I remember telling my friends to drive me over, and at the time was Yonkers General. And I got here, probably was about 4:30 in the morning, and I walked in the door with no clue of what was going to happen on the other end. But I knew at that point that if I didn't change my life, that I was going to die. And I walked in, and between St. John's and the staff that was here gave me an opportunity to live a life beyond my wildest dreams.
So I chose St. John's. You know, there are obvious reasons. My father had been here for years. He had a passion for it. And I saw the great experiences he had, the friends he made. But there was one experience I remember distinctly in the summer of 1970. It was the night of the All-Star game. I had just had surgery on my neck here at the hospital. And I was on the floor, and I was in pain, but there were nurses at the bedside who were helping me and getting me set up and making sure I didn't have any real discomfort. But they also were very caring to make sure that I was able to see the baseball game, that the TV was centered so I didn't have to move my neck, that the picture was perfect. And it showed me that caring feeling that my father had told me all about the nursing staff here at St. John's. And I never forgot it.
I took a risk. You know, I had the opportunity to sit at the table with Ron. It was important for me to tell him who I was because my integrity. And once I took the risk, it was like Ron Cordy just embraced me with his open arms and didn't even judge me. St. John's is my stepping stone. St. John's gave me the light of hope when it was very dark for me.
So over the 38 years that I've been here, I've seen St. John's evolved into a modern hospital. One of the beauties of it is that we can take on the new technologies, the new surgical procedures. We have doctors who are up to date with the latest treatments for cancer chemotherapies and cardiac treatments. But at the same time, we're still a community hospital that has that tone and that relationship that's so vibrant and so important. Because in the end, it's about people taking care of people and people communicating with people, so that yes, we have all this modern technology and we'll keep growing. That's where we're going. But there's a soul here, there's a relationship, and that's so important.
I think around 1978 or so, we got the dialysis machine and started doing dialysis right in our hospital. We trained the nurses to do the dialysis, so we had, by rotation, we had one nurse always available 24 hours a day. And whenever there was a need for acute dialysis treatment, emergency dialysis treatment, we were able to provide.
Having a small community hospital in St. John's and an even smaller hospital, community hospital, Dobbs Ferry, actually I didn't take that as a negative, I took that actually as a positive. Here I have the ability to work closely with the administration and the nurses to develop a program specifically designed around the Mako. And the robotic technology. And by doing so, every facet of the orthopedic care has been transformed into a highly efficient, highly skilled program that brings stellar results to our patients. And that has transformed not only the orthopedic care, but that has a ripple effect through the entire institution. Now, not only do we have a robot for orthopedics, we now have the Da Vinci robot for general surgery. By taking one part of the hospital in orthopedics and making that amazing, we've actually elevated the entire institution.
Why go through all this trouble? Why do we want to train physicians? Well, part of it is the very reason why we're all here. This is a great community. Many of us have had our children here. We've seen family members served well in our walls, and we want to keep that going. I want to make sure that as I grow older, there's a generation of physicians who will take good care of me in the kind, caring, compassionate way that we've come accustomed to at St. John's. We know medicine is changing. We're going to be able to do a lot more things in the community setting. Keep in mind, medicine started in small homes. Medicine was really built out in communities into the profession it is now. Well, it's headed back into that direction. Technology is going to let us do a lot of things within these walls that we never thought possible. We see it now with our robots, our Mako, our transplant team. So we're in that direction, and training a generation of physicians to meet those goals is certainly something that not only Yonkers needs, but our community and our country.
John's is like that neighborhood home. Always open, all are welcome, and everyone's rooting for each other's success.
St. John's is the heart of this community.
St. John's is patient-centric.
Teamwork. Safe haven.
Healing.
Where it all started for me.
Caring, compassionate, and community strong. St. John's is leadership.
It's in my blood.
A place of greatness.
Where I served with pride for 45 years.
It's my second home for the last 52 years.
It's where I bring my family.
Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
St. John's is and will always be home to me.
St. John's is education.
Family.
Vital to our community.
Innovative.
Diversity.
Great nurses. St. John's is the earliest and most successful offshoot of St. John's Episcopal Church.
My home away from home.
St. John's is where I was born. I was even a candy striper here.
Trust me.
My heart.
My pride.
This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
St. John's is innovative breast cancer care, but also a place where I know my patients get treated like family.
We put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. And we go back. This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over.
St. John's Hospital to me is home.
Like the ceiling can't